So there's a lot that happened in this episode. So we have a potential chosen one. We have visions of divinity coming to one of our characters, and we also have the difficulty of gaining skills, which you would think is kind of odd for a world that used to be a video game but is now real life, but apparently that's a little bit more tricky now. So where does the whole chosen one divinity come from? Well, so it comes from our boy Shin having a little discussion with William, and apparently William thinks that Shin is some sort of chosen one because he knows all about skills, he has items, he has knowledge that really no one should really have. And Shin, for himself, he's just like, I don't really know if I qualify. How about for memories for the past life? And at that, William has to admit, like, no, he's never heard anyone like that. But if you go by the basis of what William has just described, that almost matches our boy Shin up to a T. He has abilities that no one really should have. He has a whole bunch of items that no one really should have. And he has titles that no one has. Like, okay, he's keeping them hidden at the moment, but our boy, he's a badass. Like, if he was to reveal his whole power, he'd be the top ranked hero easily, but he's want to keep it all hidden. So he doesn't tell William right out that he's absolutely wrong, but he keeps it on the down low. So William's like, okay, I'll take a step back, let you keep your secrets. Just want to check to see if you are someone. And it also gives our hero a heads up, like, hey, this is something that no one really knows about, only to a select few. So don't go around asking people about what the chosen one is, because they might look at you strangely like, what the heck is even that? They might think you're some kind of nutcase. So our boy, he has at least a little bit of a warning before he goes out into the world. Now, we also learn in the scene that William is actually a very nice gentleman. Like, we kind of suspected it was because he was taking care of orphans in the last episode, but it's shown that the whole reason why he's helping out the village is that he wants to stop their crying, because apparently there's some scumbag priest that's coming over to take over the church that wants to shut down their orphanage, and he just wants to stop the kids crying. So he just is trying to help them out the best he can, just proving how much of a nice guy he is, which causes Shin to just chuckle a little bit at William's own expense. Now, talking about the orphans, we gotta talk about one orphan specifically, Millie, because if you remember from the last episode, she had our boy Shin go off into the woods to go save a little white fox that turned out to be an elemental tail. And this is a legendary creature that kind of was shocking for Shin to find, because usually they're either full-grown monsters or they have full-grown human form. But what we found was like a little kit, little baby fox just sitting in the ring. So now he has to go ask Millie, like, hey, how did you know where this guy was? How did you know he was in trouble? Because we're going to presume just right now that she didn't go into the woods herself. Well, as the story progresses, we find out that she has the Star Composer ability, and this ability lets her see visions randomly. Now, these visions so far have been turned out to be absolutely 100% true. So whenever she mentions, like, yeah, you can trust him, or yeah, I saw this, people know, like, okay, more than likely not, this is what's going to happen. So we'll put our faith in you. If you tell us not to trust somebody, we're not going to trust you. If you say we can trust somebody, you'll have our trust. And that trust is very important, because that's how the nun and William actually end up trusting Shin a whole lot more than they probably should have, because of what Millie said, that he was a good guy and he would help us out. So once that's explained to the nun and William, we get the whole story about the priest. Apparently, the former priest has passed away, and this new priest that's coming in, he's a bit of a money-hungry guy who wants to shut down the orphanage in order to save money and just add it to his own coffers. Yes, you could probably force the church to stay open by writing to the local bishop or even to the pope, telling them, like, hey, this orphanage is very important. We need it for these kids. Otherwise, they have nowhere else to go. But all that is going to do is that's just going to cause the bishop to take more sneaky means to probably undermine it, probably cut it back as much as possible just so that they get the bare minimum of supplies for the orphans. So I'm just saying that unfortunately there's coming people in every profession, and if this person is much of a money pincher as it sounds like, that's probably exactly what he would do if they don't do something about it. And what their plan is they're going to get the granddaughter of the former priest and see if she can learn purification. Unfortunately, there was one issue. In order to learn this skill, you need to know how to get it. And at this point in time, 500 years past of when all the players have left this world, the skills are hard to come by. It's hard to learn them. So unless you have someone who's actually gained that said skill and knows how to acquire it and train you on how to get it, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to get it. Fortunately for them, our boy Shin just happened to be the top player all the way back then when, players were a major thing. So he tells them how to get it in order to get this trait, you're going to need a prayer orb, which thankfully he has, otherwise it would be almost impossible to get, and you need to slay over 200 undead that are level 150. Doesn't sound all that difficult for a boy, Shin, but for anybody else, that would be almost like an impossible task. Now, there's one more criteria, is that you have to get that finishing blow in. So, in order for our girl Lucia, who's going to be the nun who's going to gain this ability, she needs to go with Shin out into the field to slay them. Now, she agrees to this, and William volunteers to go with Shin and her in order to make sure that everything goes smoothly, and our trio heads up from there. Now, one more thing I want to mention is that Shin also negotiated, part of that deal was that the church would give him any important information that they come across. Now, he knows that they're not a major information hub, because usually you go to like a merchant or a local lord or, the Ventures building for that matter. But he figured if it's massive news, probably good enough to get it from the church. So now, as they're on their way out to go hunt the undead, Shin is also contacted by Tia. Now, Tia apparently has got in contact with her master by using the letters that Shin gave her in the last episode, and apparently her master sent her a barrage of questions about Shin, to the point that Tia's worried, what did he do to her master to make her ask such questions? Leaving us wondering, what kind of questions is she asking at Tia? Are they just caring questions, like, really, are you sure? Or is it more like, how dare that guy come back? May I have to destroy him or take care of him by the time I find him? I don't know. It just sounds interesting on why Tia would word it like that, like, what did you do to my master for to ask these kinds of questions? So makes you just wonder what she's asking about. So I'm really looking forward to see Shin and Sheen's reunion in the next episode, because I think it's going to be a great time just to see the former master and former companion getting back together. It'll be a good time in my opinion. One more thing though, as Shin and his team are out slaying the undead, we also see that the princess from the royal family is out there slaying undead as well, with that magical sword that came flying through her room the other day. And she seems to be doing quite well with it, so good for you. But it begs the question, why is she out there slaying the undead? Like, hey, good for you, power to you. I enjoy seeing girls out on the battlefield in anime. It's just, why aren't your brothers out here? Or why are you out here with your knights doing this job? Are you the oldest one? Are you the only member of the royal family? If so, wouldn't you be more protected? Or maybe there are just too many kids in the royal family, so you're just like, oh, I'm down at the totem pole. They don't really care too much, so I can go out and do this. That just makes some question why she's able to come out here and do this. But we kind of get a little bit of understanding why she can go out so brazenly to face off all of these undead, is because Sheen is out there helping her slay these undead. And so if there's a massive undead that they can't handle, well, the elf maiden can take care of it for them. So we have some understanding there. I'm just a little concerned of why she's out there and not just the knights or not an older brother. I'm just making note of it because it is a little bit strange, but still, I'm a big fan of it, so it's not too much regret, just a little curiosity there. So I wonder also if we're going to see her in the next episode meeting up with Shin and seeing if she recognizes how strong he is, or if he hides his ability from her, or if she is friendly with him. I'm curious to see how that goes about. So far from what we've seen in the anime, she seems to have a pretty decent personality, so I'm going to guess she's going to be a pretty good girl to have along and a decent friend. It's just my presumption here. Now, you guys let me know, what do you think about this episode? Do you think that the whole Chosen One is going to become a major part throughout the storyline? Do you think that Millie's gift is going to become a major asset for them and be playing a big part? Or do you think it's just something that the manga writer had in there for just a little bit, but isn't going to play too much a role? And what do you think Shin and Sheen's relationship is going to be like once they reunite in the next episode? I'm curious to see what you guys got to say. Leave a comment down below, leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys there. Bye.